Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Friday edition of Moohead Radio. I'm your host, a big and furry bovine. Been going through this shit for 24 years. I can't get no satisfaction. All I get's Stefanski reaction, though I try. Enough of that. How's everybody doing? We have to play a real football team tomorrow, and it's going to be ugly, folks. It was in the 40s in Cleveland today, but it won't be tomorrow. You'll be lucky to make 30 degrees on the lake. Not going to be any precipitation, but the winds are going to gust 24 to 30 miles an hour. That means the team with the running game wins. The team with the passing game wins. The team with the defense that can stop the run wins. The team that is not called the Browns wins. What else can I tell you? But we have some time to kill here, so why not enjoy ourselves while everything's going to hell? The way we always start out the Friday show is for those people who are sick and tired of saying, good, is this show on Prime? The game, is it on Prime? Is it on ESPN? Is it somewhere buried in the Arctic Circle? So I'm going to show you, if you're sick and tired of finding out that your game that you're going to watch is going to be on a pay channel that you don't want to pay for, get smart. Do something for yourself. That's as far as I'll go. However, 506sports.com puts up a map every week. This week's look like this. There's no reason for you to miss this football game because this is what we call the map of humiliation. The red, all of this that I'm circling, is all the Cleveland massacre. You're saying to yourself, why would everybody rather see Buffalo at Cleveland than see Kansas City at Tennessee or Cincinnati at Miami or the Jets at New Orleans? Well, maybe because the way the NFL schedules these games, all these games are puke games. And the fact is that Cincinnati at Miami gets Spiro Ditas and Adam Archuleta. Let those cocksuckers have them for a change. I was thinking that Spiro Ditas was on Jimmy Haslam's payroll. Like, woo, we'll be the worst team in football, and you can just camp here and stay here, and woo, in the middle of the winter, you're going to love it, Spiro. We get Ian Eagle and J.J. Watt. That's what we get. J.J. Watt's got to get to watch whether Myles Garrett can break the record. You see how that works? Everything is designed to piss all over the city of Cleveland and the Browns organization. People are going to turn on their CBS affiliate in these towns, Seattle and Portland and Eugene, people in Oregon going, nah, why am I supposed to be watching this? Spokane, Washington, my old stomping grounds. Sacramento, Reno, Nevada, San Francisco, bluest skies you've ever seen, they're in Seattle. Fremont, California, if you've never been there, you're not missing much. Bakersfield, that's where Buck Owens was from. Las Vegas, Nevada. It's good to see this game. There's some active gambling on this. How much can the Browns lose by? Phoenix, the land of the sun, and Tucson. Yep, you're getting the Browns game. Salt Lake City. No, you couldn't pray it away, Mormons. You're stuck with the Browns game. Denver, Colorado. You'd rather be a mile high than watch this football game, but you're going to get it. Boise, Idaho. You're going to be a couch potato and watch the game in Boise. Now, this is not scripted, folks. I do this stupidity off the top of my head. I don't even know some of these. Fargo, North Dakota. Duluth, Minnesota. Green Bay, Chicago, Indianapolis, Louisville, Kentucky. It's incredible. Birmingham, Alabama. Montgomery, Alabama. Atlanta, Georgia. Macon, Georgia. Making bacon while you're watching the game. Jacksonville, Florida is even getting a glimpse of this game because the only people in Florida who are going to be seeing Cincinnati at Miami are either people who have a lot of disrespect for their own feelings, or if they're in Orlando, Tampa Bay, and in Miami and in Sarasota and all that. Plenty of places to see this game. Baltimore, Washington, D.C., Pittsburgh people. Yep. Syracuse, New York. Yep. Scranton, Pennsylvania. Maybe, maybe not. They're right on the edge of that New York City yellow. That's right, because the only way you're going to see the New York Jets at the New Orleans Saints is if you have one hell of a problem or you're in New York City, and that is done intentionally by the network to piss off the people in New York City for the whole Mamdani thing. All right, you're going to put him in office? You get the Jets at New Orleans. That's what you get. And also, the Jets at New Orleans will be available in New Orleans, in Jackson, Mississippi. God forbid you should be there. Shreveport, Louisiana. So there you go. There's your map. You do what you have to do. I hope you do. Do. All right. Let me stop the screen now. All right. Yeah, right off the bat. This is what media people do. They bring up these ridiculous ideas. Why would Bill Belichick want to come back to Cleveland? To hump his young wife, which he probably can't do anyway, because he was never very good at offense, right? So he could do that in Northeast Ohio? Of course not. This is just a way for people to get hits. Yeah, the Mormons finally get their bills paid. Hello, Alex. How you doing? And Charles Armstrong, how you doing? And Tom Holly, how you doing? Yeah, Vegas always wins. Isn't that the case? So here's what I want to talk about today. First of all, so that you know, before you jump into the game, and what's really funny is we've had this incredible number of viewers watching the program, and now they're all gone because I think they're fed up. I think they're like, no, there's nothing this guy can say that'll make us feel better about anything. Here are the players who are out. Not in that sense. Hey, not in that sense. Denzel Ward and David Njoku were among the 6 Browns players ruled out for the Bills game. Njoku is permanently injured. Denzel Ward is close to permanently injured. The other players are Jack Conklin. Oops, upside my head. He got a concussion. Dylan Sampson, again, his hand. He must have done the same thing to his hand that Sam Merrill did. All right. And Deshaun Watson. Achilles. No, he's not as good as Achilles, but he does have weaknesses. So those going into the game are your injureds. Now I want to really... I'm going to share something that's going to make everybody smile. Everybody's going to smile when they see this. Oh, you're going to love me so much. And the reason is because I have to do shit like this. It's my job. All right. There she is! Mary Kay Cabbagehead. That's her pose. Strike a pose, there's nothing to it. Vogue, 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 Vogue. It's the sexy grandma pose. Yay! Here's the quote. 7 starts won't tell us anything except that the Browns still don't have a real answer at quarterback. If it's me, it's not. I'm drafting a quarterback high and not pretending this experiment is going to work. Here's my questions. First of all, no, we're not going to draft a quarterback high. Jimmy will draft a high quarterback. He's done it before. 7 starts won't tell us anything except that the Browns still don't have a real answer at quarterback. Where were you, you cabbage head? Where in the hell were you when the little shrimp was playing? I don't remember Mary Kay Cabbagehead saying anything of the sort about Dylan Gabriel when it was obvious that was going nowhere. That was 6 games. You get 16 tons. What do you get? Another week of Dylan full of regret. Yeah, she never said shit. But now she's drafting a quarterback high and not pretending that this experiment, we're lost in this masquerade. What experiment are you referring to, you dummy? The experiment of Deshaun Watson before this? The experiment of the old Joe Flacco? The experiment of Kevin Stefanski? What are we talking about? This whole team is a fucking failed experiment. You, Mary Kay, are a failed experiment. Nobody would want to claim you. Maybe your husband would. But you fooled him. And I'm not even going to guess how. I don't understand. Can't do that anymore either. You know how much lube it... Never mind. I'm not going to go there. I promised I'd be a good cow. Cow is never good. By the way, so everybody knows, the cow who is a blabbermouth, I invited sports boy Tony, is that his name? To be on the program. I invited him anytime he wants to debate me, man or a cow, about this whole Brown situation, about Shador and all that stuff. We'll see. We'll see what he says. Do you think that he will have the courage to come on and debate? And I'll tell you what, I'm going to drop the cow costume. I'm just going to be me. I'm not going to be the cow who swears at people and ridicules people and says that older women need extra moisturization in certain parts of their body. No, not going to be the cow. I want to get rid of that. I'm getting ill, really seriously looking at that. It's like, ugh. But I have another one for you. Oh my God. They're coming out of the woodwork. They're getting record hits too, you see? That's what it amounts to. And what screen are we going to share this time? Dun, 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 dun. And here we go. Kevin deserves a chance to coach his football team when he has a quarterback that he can win consistently with, Mary Kay Cabbagehead again. What a surprise. Oh, we knew it all along, didn't we? We knew that. She likes that graying beard just for men. She likes that. She wants some of that. She couldn't get into the Ivy League, so maybe the Ivy League can get into her. This show's already gone to hell, so we'll take it the rest of the way. And this was from the Ken Carman and Anthony Lima show, Sports Boy Tony. All right. And this is what they were pimping. I hate to use that word when Mary Kay's involved because we know she's as pure as the driven snow. We know that. How, on one hand, 7 weeks of an experiment is too long to wait on the black quarterback. Even though you gave all that time to the midget, you're not going to give the black quarterback that much time. And to make matters worse, here's a coach who's been here for 6 fucking years. God, I sound like Don Knotts. Andy! Forget it. Kevin deserves a chance to coach this team. What has he been doing for the last 6 years? Please, somebody help me through this. I think that I'm missing something here. When he has a quarterback that he can win consistently with, he's had 6 years to find one. And not one single one of them could play for him. Oh, my God. Now, well, the thing is, there's no quarterback that anybody can say is a definite hit. And I'm just going to ask really simply, and I'll even prepare Sports Boy Tony, if he does ever come on the program, that he wants to debate me, not the cow, because nobody deserves that. Nobody deserves to have to put up with the cow. I'll give him an idea of where I'm coming from. You're going to take a big swing, not at a 3-0 pitch, at a 3-2 pitch with the bases loaded and the World Series on the line, and you're going to take a big swing after the whole Deshaun Watson thing? You want to draft a quarterback when you could actually make the roster better? There's no quarterback who's going to win with this lineup. Don't you get it? No one's going to look good. And I'll go as far as saying this. You're going to bring Dylan Gabriel back if you can find him. All right. First, you need a magnifying glass. But if you can find him, you're going to bring him back. Fair? And you're going to bring Shedeur back. Fair? And then you'll probably have some kind of guy like Bailey Zappi or somebody like that who will be walking around in a daze. And that's it. But you know how different it would be if you actually had an offensive line? Do you know that this draft alone, we could get a prolific wide receiver for sure? For sure, if we don't fuck up the pick, but for sure. And we can get at least 2 solid offensive linemen. Really good, solid. I mean, and anyone's better than the people we have out there right now. I mean, they're matadors. Let's be honest. They're not good. So what's it matter? If a little midget is being run over by people through a weak offensive line, why would you want to bring Kevin Stefanski back? Why would you want to take a chance and blowing your whole wad on a quarterback in front of that porous offensive line? Nobody going to want to come to Cleveland playing behind that. They see what's happening, and it's not good. You got to make the team better. And anybody, really, who can question this part of my argument is brain damaged. There are so many holes in this team that need to be patched. But the main ones, first of all, Kevin's got to go. All right? He's had his chance. And I will even defer on Dylan Gabriel and say, let's give Dylan the fair chance along with Shedeur in, in the preseason and all that and practices next year. Let's do it with a different head coach and a different offensive scheme. But I guarantee you this, there is not a single offensive coordinator, not a single head coach who is going to take a job in Cleveland knowing that Dylan Gabriel is the definite starter. Let's be honest about that. But there is a guy who will take the job, who is a competent head coach, who will take on Shedeur to see if he has what it takes. And if he doesn't, Then you go for the quarterback in the next year or whatever. You got to defer this year, folks, because you got to build a team that somebody's going to want to play on. Would you want to play? Seriously. And Tom Holly, you're absolutely right. Would you want to take snaps from Whippler? Isn't he the guy from the Charmin commercial who was always squeezing the toilet paper? Mr. Whippler? Would you want to be behind this makeshift offensive line? There's only one quarterback that I can think of, really, that I would love to see behind this offensive line. Well, two. Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. And I'm not even saying Aaron Rodgers because he gone. I mean, he's not coming back again. He's going to walk away saying, you see, I got myself a winning record in Pittsburgh, that shitty little smelly city. And I'm going to go out and I'm going to do my yoga and my chanting and my lock myself in a box routine. Nobody wants to play behind these people. Nobody wants to. And the offense was dreamed up and schemed up by Kevin Stefanski, and he has to go. His time is over. We need a fresh situation. And I guess maybe I'm going to make a comparison in this program between the Cavaliers and the Browns because both are very, big disappointments. Big disappointments. When Stefanski came here in 2020, the offense that he brought was predicated on having that offensive line and building that offensive line and having the draft picks, guys like Nick Chubb, and having, Kareem Hunt. That was where the whole beginning of this offense was planned and schemed. And it worked in a way because you had a quarterback. I mean, I can tell you this much. If we had an offensive line and a receiver or two receivers from the draft and we had Baker Mayfield, none of you people would complain. None of you would. All I'm saying is give Shedeur a chance to throw the ball down the field and score some points. Look, next year, if you win 7 games, I'm a happy guy. Then I feel that it was worthwhile watching some of the games if we were at least competitive, if we saw what we really needed to build further on. And if it happens to be a quarterback, which it could very well be, then you could do it from there. But you already have pieces in place. And this is true, Jason. I mean, they pull your ass off the field so they can do a double, triple reverse Statue of Liberty, jump in a Lake Erie with Hugh Jackson play. That's the deal? I don't know. Don't joke. He might. I mean, Eric Mangini was boning somebody. Stefanski has gone from being kind of the conservative Ivy League guy to a guy who's become increasingly desperate, you see. That's the thing. Just complete desperation. And it reeks of desperation when you make play calls like that. It's really, really bad. Here's another quote from our favorite Mary Kay Cabbagehead. You've got guys on this football team that are starting to head into the back 9 of their career. That Super Bowl window, one that I've always been talking about, is closing. When was it open? Tell me. I've been here watching this fucking team since 1966. I was 8, 9 years old when I would start listening to the Browns games on the radio on Sunday while my father did my mother's hair in his beauty salon in Canton, Ohio. That's a long time to be a Browns fan, folks. Why do you think I had a topic to pick for this podcast all the way back in 2022? Excuse me, 2002. Why do you think I picked this? Because it's been with me virtually my whole life. But I don't remember any Super Bowl window being open. No. Topaz says, no. That Super Bowl window is closing. Next year has to be about winning. It has to be. It has to be for everybody involved. Well, how in the fuck are you going to win if you don't have players, you dummy? God, I wanted to say dumb bitch so badly. Oh. You got guys and they're starting to head into the back nine of their career. Little golf reference there. I thought Back Nine was the movie she was in when she was younger. Next year doesn't have to be about winning because it's not going to be about winning. You understand that. The people who come here and watch this, are you smart enough to realize that? It's not about winning anything next year. It's about becoming respectable and putting a respectable team that on any given week has a chance to win. Not that they're going to, but that they will try hard and they won't have Grant Delpit in a depression clinic trying to get his head cleared out from the negativity of being in a losing situation for so many years in Cleveland. He got to talk to Joe Thomas. He needs somebody to talk to. I don't know. It bothers me. Meanwhile, what we really are facing against the Buffalo Bills is a team that is so far advanced from where we are. Josh Allen has thrown for 3,276 yards. Dig this, 70% completion. Holy moly. Can you believe when this guy came out of, where was it? I'm trying to remember, Wyoming? Is that where Josh Allen came out of? He was a 52% completion quarterback, and the rap on him was he has a great arm, but he has no accuracy. He's back up again at 70%, averaging 8.1 yards per. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, folks. His longest pass, 54 yards. He'll surpass that on Sunday. He's got 25 TDs and 10 interceptions. He has been sacked 33 times, but his overall rating is a 104.3 for the season. Holy moly. Cook, their running back, 1,415 yards and a 5.2 average. Josh Allen, he can beat you with his legs too. 535 yards, 5.5 yard average. Even Johnson, the second string running back, has a 4.6 average per carry. They got an offensive line. What we don't. And they've got film from the last two Browns games that will show them the way to beat up a depleted defensive line that is given up and has no hope. This has all the makings of as ugly a game as the last one was. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you already beat me to it, Tom. Yeah, and that is true. I mean, they have a stat for that. They got a stat for everything, and Judkins is been hit behind the line of scrimmage more than any running back in the National Football League. This offensive line has destroyed everything, and it's really ugly. The other thing, that if you want the rest of your hope to be taken and sucked out of you, Mr. Moohead, the succubus, is going to take all of the positivity out of your soul They have a bunch of guys who can catch passes. They have Shakir, they got Kincaid, they got Coleman, and they all average double digits basically per reception. They've got Knox at a tight end, double digits. Palmer, another one, double digits. I mean, they can beat you with the running game. They can beat you with the deep passing game. Somebody in the Browns organization has to take a look at how you win in a cold weather destination. And fuck you, Jimmy Haslam. You're going to build a dome. So the only advantage that your team could seriously have, bringing in, you saw the Dolphins when they came in. I'm freezing. And they lost. The only advantage that Cleveland has is this horrible weather that forces teams to come here. And you're going to take that away because you're a dumb hick. You're an idiot. A dome. It disturbs me, but it's the defense. Look at the number of sacks. 31 sacks. And it's spread, man. It's just not one defensive end. It's not just but defensive tackles have 3 each. Bosa has 5 himself. As a team, 31. I'm just looking at these stats and shaking my big cow head. And the return game, they had Davis at 32.5 yards per return. Don't kick him the ball. But, as long as a 97, he'll beat. No, I'm not going to say he's going to beat that. But you never know. With Bubba's special teams. Their kicker is even 18 of 20. 90% in field goals. There isn't a weakness with this team. Their punter averages 45 yards a punt. Oh, is their kicker hurt? Oh. Prater is hurt? That's exactly right. That's what the Browns do, Tom. Absolutely. God almighty. God help us. People are picking the Bills to win, and I don't understand why. I have never seen so many lopsided picks. Nobody's paying attention to anything about the odds or any of that. Here are the picks from ESPN. Bills 34-10. Bills 24-13. Bills 31-10. The prediction, an average of a 12.8. God almighty. The game's not going to be close. And yes, you're going to blame Shador, aren't you? Of course you are. There's so many other people to blame. Who did they bring in? A former Cleveland kicker who will beat them over the head with a club? It's possible, So, what am I picking? No. I am picking. I guess I'll go with the Bills. And the score? I don't think the Browns are going to do anything more than score field goals. And they're going to be so far behind, they're going to have to go for it every time. I think it's going to be the Bills 34, the Browns 6. And only because they feel sorry for us and hand the ball off and start going down the field slowly, and it's going to eat clock. Nothing else to say about that. Now, I'm going to make the comparison now between the Cleveland Browns and the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I think it's a very valid comparison. if you've ever played poker, and I'm sure a lot of you have played poker, even I played poker when I was young. When I was 3, actually. I didn't have any money to bet. Grew up in a Jewish family. The bottom line is that there's a saying, and the saying is, you stayed at the table too long. People get hot. People start winning hands. They get on a roll, and they don't get the fuck out in time. We're seeing two different methodologies being played out because with the Browns, it was, well, everyone's going with the smaller wide receivers back in 2020. We're going to go with this iron offensive line and a running game, a shorter passing game. We got a young quarterback in Baker Mayfield who's got a strong arm. And, we're going to utilize him and to the best of our advantage. And we're going to create that system. And it's like, all right. But the league keeps dealing new hands. And what worked 6 years ago doesn't work now. Ask teams like the Kansas City Chiefs. Well, I don't know what happened. Well, you may have gotten old. You may have gotten crippled. Or maybe the game just evolved and your roster that used to compete at the highest level couldn't compete at the highest level anymore. That's most likely the case. We stay at the table way too long. We make the big gamble bet, and we do it with Deshaun Watson. It's like we got this young coach, Kevin Stefanski, and we think he's good. We got this quarterback, but no. Baker's not the guy, and we I'm all in. Oh, woo! I'm all in. Go push my money. Woo! And he goes and he gets Deshaun Watson and it stayed at the table too fucking long and wiped out. Wiped out. The difference is Jimmy Haslam never gets wiped out because he's rewarded for losing. The NFL loves Jimmy Haslam because he gives everybody an easy win. That's why they're the big nationally televised game this week, so everyone can see them get crushed like a bug. That's the only reason. Thank you, Mr. T. I do appreciate it. Let's see what other people are saying. 28-10. Can't really argue with that, Rick. Oh, that's the halftime score. Okay. I don't know who Mike Badgley is, but it's a 24 to 30 mile an hour wind. Let him kick into it. Yeah, we already saw that. We lose by 3 touchdowns, so it's going to be close. My name has been invoked. Wait a minute. Oh, am I supposed to say something? Hi, I'm Joe Banner. Does something smell in here? I think it's the offensive line of the Browns. I'm killing it, aren't I? You know, it would be great if Joe Banner could beatbox. Make that stop. We have so many names we can make fun of through the years of the Browns organization. It really stops being funny now, doesn't it? Really? Look at this. You haven't watched one game this year and never been happier. And you're still watching this broadcast? God bless you, Chubba Wubba Hub. Yeah. Thank you. That's nice. And I can't blame you. Really? I mean, so you spend more time with your family on Sunday? You don't come back all hopeful from church and then get crushed by the Browns. You remain spiritually lifted for the rest of the day. Not a bad thought. Staying at the table too long is what has happened in a much faster way to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and let me explain. The Cleveland Cavaliers bring in Kenny Atkinson as the head coach. He comes in with a very interesting strategy as far as how to increase the number of possessions and shots and three-point shots to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Wait a minute. One ringy dingy. Okay. There you go. So the Cavaliers hire Kenny Atkinson. He says, we're going to move that ball around. It's like a pinball on a pinball machine. We get open shots. We're going to take open shots, and we're going to pick the tempo up, and we're going to have good shooters, and we're going to, rebound the ball. We're going to do all the things we're supposed to do, and bang, 64-win season. Now, you're sitting at that poker table. People are watching you hand after hand. And a good poker player will start realizing what the other people at the table are doing, what little tells they might have, what little ways they can read the situation. And pretty soon the guys figure it out, except it happened way too fast for the Cavaliers. And here's the reason why. I don't disagree with what Kenny Atkinson's done. I don't disagree with the whole idea, the plan. It was great. It was great fun watching it last year. But other people see it too, just like at the poker table. And they say, you know something? He's on to something. And what do we have to lose? We're the Charlotte Hornets, or we're the Washington Wizards. We're going to get a bunch of really fast, athletic guys and go up and down the floor. And then one of the teams, the Indiana Pacers, says, oh, we got talented players and we have the ability. Younger guys, we got Halliburton, we got Matherin, we've got guys that can go up and down the floor. They can shoot threes and, just dog you the whole game, man, and up and down. And we're going to press. We're going to press everybody up the floor. And suddenly the Indiana Pacers become the creme de la creme of the East. And the Cavaliers in 1 year gave the league a great idea. God bless you, Kenny. It's not like Stefanski, who had to go back to Vince Lombardi days to try to create a running game in the modern football game. You actually had a good idea. But the problem with good ideas are like good hands in poker. You can't get one every time. And the hand that he's been getting has been terrible with injuries. And the players that he has can't keep up playing the type of game that he instituted and introduced into the NBA a year after he introduced it. They can't play that game. He's got to figure out a second plan, the plan B, and he hasn't been able to do it so far. And he's lost the players. Players have stopped trying. The energy is low. Doesn't know who to play and who not to play. So I'm here to help. I am here to help. A cow extends his hoof, the hoof of information that might help Kenny Atkinson salvage this season. He's not going to win a championship, but maybe a chance to get into the playoffs, because the rate we're going now, not going to make the playoffs. I hate to tell you. Mr. Radio Voice. That wouldn't be me. No. But thank you. Unless you're talking about somebody else. Jim Donovan. That would be Mr. Radio Voice, huh? That would be like... So here's what I do. If you want to continue to play that kind of game, but you can't go up and down the floor, and I don't know if you're noticing this, when we go up and down the floor and we're trying to put the ball up on the run, and Spida is penetrating the lane, and he misses the shot, the other teams are just breaking the opposite way and throwing full court passes and laying the ball in on the other end. We're flat footed. But you tell me, who are these guys going to outrun? You've got Evan Mobley. Sometimes you have Jared Allen. These people aren't going to beat anybody down the floor. As sure as hell, Darius Garland isn't anymore because he's going to have his foot amputated at the rate he's going. I really don't know. What do you do? First of all, we need to have our three-point shooters. We need Merrill out there. We really do. And it's great that that Jalen Tyson has gotten better at shooting the three, but he's a set shooter, just like Merrill is. Got to move the ball. The two bigs, that was kind of how we got trumped. The two bigs can't go up and down the floor like that. They get beaten, and they're not even rebounding right now. They get the rebound, boom, outlet pass, second pass, layup. Or there are three guys down the court, there's only two for us, and they just pass the ball around until they get a layup. We're giving up more layups than I've ever seen a Cavaliers team give up. It's really unfortunate. But that's the reason. Because we're going full bore at the rim, and we're going full bore throwing up these long threes, but we're not a good rebounding team. So here we go. There are a couple of people who don't belong on the roster. All right. And it's not a personal thing, but it's factual. Larry Nance Jr. does not belong on the roster. His career's over. He wanted to come back to Cleveland. He came back to Cleveland. Great guy. Really a great guy. But he can't play at this level any longer. And the level has gone way up because of the speed and athleticism of the game. He can't keep up. And if he does, he's just going to get injured over and over again. Same thing is true of Lonzo Ball. You're seeing Lonzo Ball stealing the ball at midcourt, and he can't get the layup at the other end because he can't accelerate anymore because he has nothing left in his legs after the surgeries. He just can't do it anymore. You wonder why he can't shoot threes. His legs are gone. I don't know what he did in the offseason. Maybe he slit his wrist because he was coming to Cleveland. I don't know. I've never been high on him to begin with. A lot of that had to do with his father pimping him relentlessly back, 7 years ago, when he was the number 2 overall pick. You can say that, man. You can say that. But this is the game we're playing in today. And we have a problem. Cleveland has this problem. If you can't play that kind of up-tempo game as well as even teams that are beating them now, like the Hornets, teams with losing records like the Bulls, they're beating us up and down the floor. There's mallets over the back of our head. It's really bad. I don't know. Here's some other things. So, needless to say, Lonzo Ball should be traded or released. And I don't care. I know it's costing him money, but you know something? We've all done something stupid in our lives. We've all bought something that we thought was going to be great, and it turned out to be less than great. We spent a lot of money on it. Everybody has done something like that. This check mark Lonzo Ball into that. It was a bad idea. I understand why it was done because Ty Jerome left, but and they said, well, Ty Jerome's not that fast, and he's never going to be fast again either at the rate he's getting leg injuries. But the bottom line is that the game changed overnight. And you saw that Ty Jerome wasn't the answer playing against the Indiana Pacers. It was scary. Yeah, he looked like a guy getting mugged in the hood, honestly. He couldn't get the ball over the midcourt line. It was just panic city. So, those two guys. Starting lineup. Kenny took my first piece of advice, which I've been saying for the last couple weeks, that DeAndre Hunter can't start. That's a mistake. He made the mistake of asking DeAndre, and DeAndre said, yeah, I want to start. So he started, and it's destroyed him. He's playing against longer, younger, faster players, and he's lost his confidence because everything is sped up so much. Let him come off the bench. Let him be a scorer off the bench. He's not a good defensive player. We were led to believe he had those skills. Well, he did in college. But, guys who are defensive players are Isaac Okoro. They're not going to make the big money in the NBA. It's the guys who can put the ball in the hole who make the money. DeAndre thought, hey, getting into the starting lineup with the Cavaliers was a great idea. The problem is, if Darius Garland's on the floor and if Donovan Mitchell are on the floor, you can bet they're going to get their share of shots up. And it almost looked like DeAndre Hunter was just forcing things just to get up a certain number of shots. Well, he's never been like a volume shooter that's only like a 40% shooter like Karis LeVert was. He's always been a higher percentage shooter than that. And it's because he was able to select his shots against guys who were second string players. Hello, let him do his thing off the bench because we need help off the bench scoring. So right off the bat, what do you do with the starting lineup? You know that Darius is going to play, even though it's really, really sketchy there as far as his foot. And Donovan's going to play. And Evan Mobley's going to play. Now, anything after that, you've got Jalen Tyson, who deserves to start because he's worked hard. And I can't tell you that he's going to be the guy on the floor during crunch time. I don't know that. The fifth starter is the real interesting part of this because everyone's going to go, Jared Allen. And it's like the too big thing doesn't work in this new NBA. And I'm going to relegate Jared Allen off the bench because he is going to be kind of a game time decision, depending on who you're playing and what their strengths are. If you're playing a team that is a poor rebounding team and isn't up and down the floor, you can play the two bigs. But it has really stunted Evan Mobley's growth. Mobley is the center. Allen is the backup center coming off the bench. And I know this is the players either buy into it or they go away because they're not buying into this right now. They're starters now and they're not trying. So this is what you have to do for the good of the franchise, the good of the team, for the good of the fans, and for the best result that the head coach can possibly get. That's that. Who's the fifth starter? Sam Merrill could start depending on who you play. Because like I said, game time decision. You're not going to be starting a set five. You got to be flexible. If you're playing a team that notoriously gives up a lot of threes, Merrill's got to be on the floor. He's your best three-point shooter. Yes, you're going to be small, but you're going to make up for that by scoring points. You have other guys who could conceivably start, but let's leave it that the starting five is the starting five, and we have to go for the second string, what's coming off the bench, and that would be DeAndre Hunter first and foremost, because he's going to be your leading scorer off the bench. Max Strus is another guy who we don't know how close he is or how far away he is to play. He is a perpetual motion guy. He's not an up and down fast guy, but he's a guy who keeps the offense moving, and we miss him tremendously along with Merrill because they're not both nonstop motion, and that's how they get their open shots. So those two guys have to find playing time, and we need a second string that can score. If we're getting rid of Lonzo Ball, we have two guys. We've got CPJ and we got Proctor, and we're going to keep both of them. They're different types of players, and in the long run, I don't know who the better bet is, but Proctor has more size and more ball handling capabilities at this level, probably. Backup big man. If you're using Jared Allen out there, you'll have the best backup big man in the game, and maybe he will take over the middle and play more aggressively and will look better against other teams' benches. This name I knew would come up. D. Wade is a guy who can't start. His shot is too iffy. He doesn't have upper body strength to block people out. He can jump well. He can hit open shots that are set shots. But he's a much better player against second string players than he is against starters. I mean, it's just a fact. He stays on the team. And if he's injured, you get rid of him at the end of the year. So I kind of believe that what you're then looking at is, do you want to have another big guy coming off the bench and Bryant? And I'm not high. I'm not high on Bryant. I think he's kind of a knucklehead from what I'm seeing. He's a fake tough guy. We don't need a fake tough guy. And then you've got Naquan Tomlin. And every time I see, gosh, there's a natural ability in him, he looks outclassed in certain situations, running around like a chicken with its head cut off. He's green. He's very, very green. I keep him on the team because the one thing he does have is very fast second and third jump. He is a good offensive rebounder. He can give you some quality minutes in an energy sense, so I keep him. So you're never going to be able to run with these guys. And what Kenny has to understand is if you're running with Strus and with Merrill and with DG and with Spida, and those are your guys, and even Dean Wade, if that's, and you don't have to deal with the 20%, Lonzo Ball that they can fall back on, you've got to have a bunch of people who can drill that three if that's the way you're going to play. But you can't do it up and down and up and down. You move the ball quickly in the half court. That's the only thing that can work. And it's the only thing that's going to get the players to understand they need to get position in order to rebound. They got to get their feet set. Right now, it's just way too fast for guys who don't play that way. And that's my thoughts. The whole idea is trying to finish above 500 just to try to get into the play-in. You can't keep doing what you're doing right now. You're going to fall below 500. You're just going to be forever just flailing. Play the half court, share the ball game, and dig in on the defensive end. Mobley's a great defensive player. And God damn it, Jared Allen can be against second stringers. And if not, then you got to trade him. You got to do what you got to do. And the poker player who sits at the table and he's not winning anymore has to realize that somebody has found out his tell, and he's got to change the way he plays. He's got to change his strategy. That's what the Cavaliers have to do. And Kenny Atkinson has to admit he should be proud that he authored a style of play, and he'll be remembered for that. At least in my mind, he'll be remembered for that. Now he's got to figure out a way for the antidote of what he created. It'll be interesting to see how it all comes out. Cavaliers are playing at 7:30 tonight. The away and home with the Bulls, and the Bulls just thwarted them last time. They got to come out with a little bit of pride. and Cavaliers fans are booing. Don't give up. Don't give up on this team. Show up. I say buy the tickets. Your owner is putting a lot of money into this, and I don't know what the story is, but if the players continue to be disenfranchised looking on the floor, the coach is going to get fired just the same way that David Blatt got fired. That's the way he works. He doesn't care if a coach has a winning record. Dan Gilbert didn't give a flying fuck. Mike Brown had a winning record. Didn't give a fuck. You got to bring people in who can communicate with the players and get on the same page. That's what that is going to be. Is there anything else at all? No, I don't think so. I think, oh, yeah, there is. There is one thing I want to talk about before I get out of here, because I'm a boxing guy and I don't watch much of it anymore because it's like professional wrestling now. But we have a fight tonight between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul. Which don't wager your money on this, please. Don't gamble on this. Under normal circumstances, a real professional fighter who's 6'6" and 243 pounds would blast a Jake Paul, who's not even an amateur fighter, into the fifth row of the spectators. And Jake Paul seems to amazingly pick the right people at the right time now, doesn't he? Like a 58-year-old Mike Tyson. Paul is a 7-1 underdog. And people are betting on him. And that's what this is all about. Oh, white boy there. Oh, Jake Paul. He's there to bring me the money. Show me the money. The gambling money. In a real world, Anthony Joshua would beat him with one hand, but he's in on this, just like Tyson was in on it, like all of them have been in on it. That gambling money is paying people to lay down. And they love having this guy, Jake Paul, who's just going to get the gambling thing going for fights, because there's no more real big-time heavyweight fights like when I was growing up in the late 60s and 70s and 80s, when you did the transitions from Ali to Frazier to Foreman to Norton to Holmes, to Lennox Lewis. Those days are gone. And what we're left with Usyk is a very serviceable fighter. He wouldn't have been a great champion over the other guys I just mentioned, but he's a very good technician, and he's much better than the people he's fighting today. I don't know. See if you can find this one. Is this thing going to be shown on Netflix? Is that the plan of attack with this? I might be wrong about this. There's so many services now. Yeah. At any rate, enjoy watching that. I don't know if I'm going to stay up that late, to be honest, but maybe I'll record it and see what happens. Everybody, have yourselves a really good weekend. I'm going to be back again, like I always am, at halftime of the Browns game. Not to say I told you so, but so that we can take a look at what there's good to talk about and what there is bad to talk about. And if there are crazy plays being called again by the head coach, we'll call him out for it, because nobody else in the Cleveland press has the balls to do that at his press conferences. I wish to God they would allow me into one. I would fly up to Ohio just to be in one of those. I would do that, honestly, just to ask him, what in the fuck are you doing? Why are you doing this? Netflix at 8 p.m. Thank you, Ron Leftman. I could always count on the pasture heads. Thanks a lot, everybody, and I will see you again on Sunday. Until then, hasta la vista, pasture heads. Mr. Radio Voice with the face for radio saying, hasta la vista, pasture heads. Good night.